Hello friends, and happy Thanksgiving. Temperatures are finally starting to drop here in California, and I've been busy planning my Thanksgiving meal. Because inflation is hitting us hard and many people are suffering right now, I thought it was important to do an extreme budget Thanksgiving dinner. I'm planning a dinner menu that comes in right at $13, and that includes dessert. It does not include drinks. Pantry staples used in this meal include flour, paprika, oil, chicken bouillon, and a couple tablespoons of butter. Butter is entirely optional, and this meal can be made without it. If you've seen my holiday videos before, you probably already know that my favorite part of the holiday is decorating my table and buffet area, and this year is no different. I'll be mostly using items that I already have, but the funnest part for me is heading to Dollar Tree to see what kind of inspiration I can get for the styling for this year's theme. I love these cups. I could see maybe doing something special on Christmas morning with, making some homemade mochas or cappuccinos for my family. These are so cute. I'm not sure if they're maybe too whimsical, but I love them. I think this is definitely going to go home with me. Blue has definitely been introduced into the color scheme this year at Dollar Tree, and I'm loving it.
Do you recall when we were young, running from all things at once?
I love how they have coordinating items. It just makes it really fun, and I'm trying to think of how I can incorporate these colors into the decor that I already have. These look interesting. My youngest son really likes olives, but I'm not including any extras in this year's meal. These are so cute. I'm gonna join Dollar Tree in embracing blue this year. I'll purchase a couple of these picks so that I can add a little bit of blue into the picks that I already have, but I do want it to be subtle. When I was at Walmart, I noticed that Pioneer Woman also had some blue in some of her Thanksgiving decor. I'm planning to go with the cheapest vegetable possible, and I thought green beans would be a great option. Unfortunately, I can't buy a bag like this for $3. I only have about 50 cents in the budget, and I was thinking about stopping by Wholesome Choice on the way home to see if they have a good deal on green beans. If not, I could just do a can of green beans I already have at home. Do you think my family would prefer fresh green beans fried up with a little bit of garlic? However, I will say that my family does prioritize stomach space, and aside from mashed potatoes, they never go really hard on vegetables. So that's another reason I don't want to spend too much of my money on the vegetable. I thought it would be nice to purchase some Yukon Gold potatoes for mashed potatoes, but they were not inexpensive. In fact, russet potatoes were $5.79 for a bag, and the petite gold potatoes were $3.49. So this is not even an option for an extreme budget. Normally I purchase celery and onions to add to my dressing, but I'm not going to be doing that this year, so it'll be interesting to see how my stuffing turns out. I also noticed that they had this Chef's Cupboard, which is the ALDi brand Hawaiian stuffing mix. That looked interesting, but I didn't try it because I wanted to save money, and I ended up going with their regular stuffing mix for 85 cents, and I'm interested to try that to see how I like it. Walmart's brand of stuffing was only a few cents more than Aldi. I was going back and forth between the Idahoan potatoes that they had or the Aldi brand, and I ultimately decided to try the Aldi brand. I was trying to figure out what is the cheapest dessert that I can make that my family will love, and I decided on a chocolate cake for $2.36. Last year, I baked a chicken with lemon, butter, and herbs, and my family loved it so much that they're still talking about it. If you think you'd like to cook an entire chicken, make sure you watch last year's video. I was shocked to find that I could still purchase an entire chicken for $5 at Aldi. If you can afford to do it, I think doing a whole chicken is definitely the way to go for Thanksgiving dinner. They also had these pork ribs for $6.95 that were a great deal. I plan to use chicken breasts this year because I know some of my viewers can't purchase an entire chicken at an affordable price, and also because I do have a lot of single viewers that might just be cooking for themselves or two people, and in that case, chicken breasts definitely makes sense. I was wondering how I could elevate chicken a little bit more for the holiday, and I remembered a dish that I used to make many years ago. I actually used to make it quite frequently, and that's chicken cordon bleu. I thought maybe I could stop by Stater Brothers and pick up some deli slices of ham and Swiss cheese, and I was hoping that they wouldn't cost very much. I had these rolls of stick-on contact paper from Dollar Tree that I've had for a while, and I thought how lovely it would be to use this roll in my theme. It went perfect with the blue colors of the Dollar Tree Thanksgiving this year, but unfortunately I didn't figure out how to add it in. I ended up running out of time, so I'm kind of bummed about that because I think that that would have been really pretty. I love texture in a tablescape. I thought I wanted to have this centerpiece mat, but ultimately I ended up going with this one. I just thought it was so much prettier. I didn't serve paper plates like this for my dinner. Instead, I used them for dessert, but I just thought they looked so pretty anyway, even just sitting on top of the plates. I spent an even $13 on the dinner. I have the chicken. I'll be using 3 chicken breasts, my ham, my Swiss cheese, and then I have all of my family's favorites. I have the mashed potatoes and the stuffing, and they love chocolate cake, so they will be excited to have that for dessert. I will put the price list in the description. Here it is also. Let's go ahead and get started, and then I'll let you know at the end of the video how it turned out, if there's anything that I would do different to this meal plan. I have added 2 eggs to the budget for 60 cents. For pantry staples, we will need chicken bouillon, flour, and oil. I was trying to think of how I could elevate this chocolate cake a little bit, and at first I thought about making a really airy, fluffy white frosting, but then I realized I would need to use uncooked egg whites, and that kind of grossed me out, so I didn't want to do that. And then I thought about shaving these little Hershey's chocolates that I had left over from Halloween, but then I realized that they're milk chocolate instead of dark chocolate, so I realized that that wouldn't look very good on top of the cake. But obviously, if you wanted to do something like that and you had some dark chocolate, that would look nice. My family will love this though, because they never get cake. When I used to make chicken cordon bleu, I would roll my chicken in Italian breadcrumbs instead of the flour and paprika. I'm not going to do that in this case because obviously I'm trying to save money, but I'm just going to roll it in a little bit of flour and paprika and brown it to where it gets a nice color on it, because I find that oftentimes chicken breast or any kind of chicken that doesn't have any skin on it really looks somewhat unappetizing unless it's browned. So that's what I'm doing here, but obviously it's a step that you can go ahead and skip if you're fine without having your chicken browned. You can just simply go straight to the oven. Also, if you do have breadcrumbs, you can also go ahead and coat it in the breadcrumbs and just throw it right in the oven. Also, instead of breadcrumbs, obviously if you have stale bread or anything like that, you can make your own breadcrumbs. I recently did a video where we made our own breadcrumbs, and it's very, very easy to do. Just mash up some dry bread and add in some Italian seasoning, and you've got breadcrumbs. I've always used a roux to make my gravy, so you just use equal parts oil or butter and flour, and in this case I'm going to be adding in some of those crispy bits and seasoning from the oil that I fried the chicken in. Once it's cooked for a few minutes and it's browned nicely, I'll add in the broth, and then I'll just stir it and let it bubble until it thickens, and I'll whisk it really good until it's smooth. This can also be made with vegetarian broth. I believe in one of my $5 a week videos, I made a vegetarian gravy that I ate with rice, and it was delicious. So that's a good option for vegans or vegetarians that want to have gravy along with their mashed potatoes. Now let me tell you what was good and what could be improved with this extreme budget Thanksgiving. My family enjoyed this meal and liked all of the dishes. I was surprised to discover that even though I didn't add the extras like celery and onions to the stuffing mix, I still got compliments on the stuffing, and it left me wondering if this is the way I should be making it from here on out. Maybe I've just been making unnecessary extra work for myself, and it certainly costs a lot less to not add in the celery and the onions. One problem I did have though is when I poured it into my regular stuffing pan, it didn't fill the pan and I had to search for something to put it in that would fit. And it wasn't just the difference of the added celery and onions. I believe the boxes this year might be smaller. So that's something you may want to consider, especially if your family loves stuffing as much as mine does. We barely just had enough, and we certainly didn't have any for leftovers. You could also extend the stuffing by adding in your own dried bread and adding additional seasoning and a small amount of broth with the chicken or vegetable bouillon. It's very easy to do. For the chicken, I used 3 breasts for my dinner, and it made 4 slices per person for 4 people. However, some of the slices weren't as pretty as the others. My family did say that the ham wasn't very flavorful, but the chicken was good. So I spent a lot more than I thought I would have to on the slices of ham and Swiss cheese from the deli. The total for those were $2.20. If you have a larger budget, you could definitely use prosciutto instead of ham and use breadcrumbs for the chicken cordon bleu. However, on the extreme budget, I do think I would go ahead and skip the ham and cheese and add a 4th chicken breast next time. And they did come in at $1.70 each. So with the extra 50 cents left over, you almost have enough for an additional box of stuffing. The chicken gravy was delicious. I saved some money by using the chicken bouillon instead of buying a mix or using purchased broth. Once you learn how to make gravy from a roux, you can use the same method to make milk gravy or milk gravy with sausage to pour over biscuits, and it's very good. You could also use cornstarch as an alternate method to thicken your gravy if you're worried about making a roux. But this was so easy, and my family really enjoyed this gravy. I also got some compliments on the corn. Corn and mashed potatoes is a natural combination together, so I'm not sure why I didn't think about that sooner, because corn was easy and cheap and it just worked well. Last year, I made a delicious appetizer with cranberries and cream cheese, along with a homemade cranberry sauce. I made a whole roasted chicken and a homemade pumpkin pie. If that sounds good to you, you might want to check out that video. I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. That's it, guys. I hope you liked my extreme budget Thanksgiving dinner, and I do hope you'll consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. I want to thank my viewers for their generosity and support of my channel. Thank you so much. And thank you to each and every one of you for watching my Thanksgiving video. I hope you have a happy and peaceful Thanksgiving. I'll see you soon, friends.